Welcome back, everybody, to episode 9. In the last episode, we talked about the second part of the formula called heart coherence. Remember, I told you that when living by the hormones of stress, the heart starts beating incoherently because social mores tell us we can't fight, we can't run, and we can't hide. And you're sitting in a staff meeting with your coworker who's delivering some type of opinion. And as you're sitting there, you're aroused and you're not fighting, you're not running, and you're not hiding, and you're stepping on the gas pedal that says accelerate, survive, and you're stepping on the brake, don't do it. And the act of stepping on the gas and the brake causes your heart to beat incoherently. And the hormones of stress draw energy from the brain down into the body, energy from the heart down into the body, and this is when we stop creating, this is when we stop trusting, this is when we stop imagining, this is when we stop believing in ourselves. So it makes sense then, if we got a coherent brain, and you've understood that formula, and create a coherent heart, the heart produces a broad magnetic field that's measurable, that now your connection to source, your connection to the unified field, your connection to that invisible field of energy that governs and creates everything physical or material, allows you to begin to all of a sudden experience less separation and more connection. Now, what do I mean by that? How do people create? People in their lives, they create from lack. They create from separation. You see someone with a new wardrobe, or you see someone with a new hairstyle, you see someone with a new car, you see someone with a new motorcycle, you see someone with something that you want or you like, or you see an advertisement is something that you desire, and your senses say, okay, that person has it, that's something that I want, and I'm experiencing lack. I don't have it and I want it. So then what happens naturally is we start imagining having it. And so as we start to imagine driving the car or wearing the new outfit or whatever it is, the next thing we know, we go right into a scene, and our brain starts imagining us in that scene. When we open our eyes then and it doesn't appear, we believe less that we have any effect on our lives. In other words, we believe less in possibility instead of more in possibility. And I've studied people for quite a while now, and there are two types of people that do this work. There are people who do this work and who are impatient, that don't want to take the time to learn the formula to heal, to learn the formula to create abundance. They just want abundance, and when they finish their meditation after their first meditation and they're not healed or they're abundant, they believe in this work less. And so then they start asking, what's wrong with me? How come it didn't work? Well, they haven't really mastered the formula yet. Then there are people who do this work and they stretch themselves outside of what they can do. In other words, they go a little further into the unknown. They don't quit. They keep practicing. And when they finish, there's a sense of satisfaction. There's a sense of overcoming. There's a sense of growth. And they believe in this work a little bit more, and they're more prone to do it. So it makes sense then that people who are practicing this formula, practicing a brain and heart coherence, it's going to require a certain amount of practice for you to get good at this. So now, when you finish your small little imaginary process and you say, I'd love that sports car, I'd love that new wardrobe, and you come back to your senses and you don't have it, then people start experiencing more lack. So they try harder, they force more, they control, they wish, they want, they hope, they pray. That's because they're experiencing separation, and they're waiting for it to change in their lives so that they can take away their separation or lack within them. And they're not conscious that they're doing this. They're just hoping that something will change instead of having the understanding that they need the change in order to produce the change outside of them. So then, if you're practicing heart coherence, and this center is the center of oneness, this is the center of wholeness, this is the union of polarity, the opposite of lack. This is where you begin to connect. This is where opposites merge. This is where once energy makes it here, it goes to the brain and influences our imagination again. Now we're restoring energy back to the heart and back to the brain. We're going to move out of the state of survival into a state of creation, and that's where we want people to be. And if they practice this properly and the heart is pounding in a more coherent state and they can sustain it, they have a broadened signal. They feel connected. If their brain is coherent, they can focus their attention. They can select a new possibility in the quantum field. And they're not thinking about everybody else or everything else, or they're not thinking about the knowns. Their brain is trained that it can focus like a laser. And now they can lay the intent or the thought on that energy and broadcast the whole new signature. And as I said, now they have a Wi-Fi signal that connects them to the field. And creating from the field instead of from matter is the core of this work. So then let's go over the next process that I want you to practice to develop heart coherence. In the meditation, I'm going to have you close your eyes, and I'm going to have you to become aware of that blackness again, to open your focus, to sense the vacuum, and broaden your awareness in all directions in a short way. And the act of doing that starts to create that type of brain order, that brain coherence. And I'm going to ask you to linger in that blackness, linger in that field without a name, without an appointment, without a past, without a body, without an identity, as an awareness. And out of all the things you could put your attention on, instead of putting it on your cell phone and your texts and your car and your where you need to be and how tired you are, whatever. Out of all the things you could put your attention on, I'm going to ask you to put it right here. And where you place your attention is where you place your energy, and that is your target. You were saying by volition that you're going to invest your attention in the center. And where you place your attention is where you place your energy, and you are going to bring this center to life with your attention or with your awareness. And I'm going to ask you to lock into that center and keep your attention on it moment after moment after moment. I'm going to ask you to feel it, to notice it, to experience it. And I'll say to you, that's energy in this center. And all I want you to do is keep your attention on it for moment after moment after moment. And you will begin to, like a flower that ultimately blooms, you're giving it life with your attention so that it can begin to open up and bloom. That your heart has to feel safe enough out of survival to create. And then I'm going to ask you to do these breaths with me while you keep your attention on your heart. I'm going to ask you to breathe in through the center, but I want you to breathe slower. I want you to breathe deeper. And I want you to breathe in a more relaxed state. And I'll say, inhale through your heart, through the center, and I'll ask you to draw in almost like 5 seconds. I'm going to have you hold it for a few seconds, and then you're going to relax and let it breathe out through your heart. And then I'll ask you again, breathe in through your heart, slower, deeper, more relaxed. Hold it, and then you exhale, breathe out. And we'll do this a series of times. And I just looked at some of the brain scans in our last week-long event that we had in Palm Springs, California. We brought in a group of scientists and researchers to study us. And I was curious to see when people did this, what happened to their brain and to their heart. And so we had an electrocardiogram hooked up to our brain science electroencephalograms. And when people did this properly, inhaling and exhaling, as they breathed and slowed their breathing down, we watched their brain waves change beautifully into more alpha patterns. The body was starting to feel safe, like it's okay to create. And you're converting, in a sense, from the sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight nervous system. You're working with your body to convert it into the parasympathetic nervous system, the nervous system of relaxation, where there's restoration, repair, regeneration, homeostasis, metabolism, assimilation, excretion. This is where the body now starts to feel safe enough out of survival to return back to balance. So I'll ask you to keep your attention on your heart. We'll breathe in slowly. We'll breathe out slowly. And the act of breathing in and out over and over again is going to begin to cause your body to relax into more alpha brainwave patterns, but not just any alpha brainwave patterns. The coherence begins to send a wave of fluid up to the brain that begins to cause the neocortex to relax into alpha. And you see these beautiful coherent patterns. That's information on those waves. And the information is energy to create with, to dream with. And the field around your body expands as your heart begins to get more balanced and orderly. So we'll practice breathing in and out while you rest your attention on it. And then when you get into that state, I'm going to ask you now to call up some emotions that have to do with this center. And the emotions are gratitude, appreciation, thankfulness, care, kindness, a love for life, a joy for existence, a freedom of expression. And I'm going to ask you to breathe, and I'm going to ask you to feel. And all I want you to do, if it takes you thinking about your children, or it takes you thinking about your pet, or it takes you thinking about something, whatever it is that gets you into this state, I don't care in the beginning. All I want you to do is get into these elevated emotions. And I'm going to ask you to keep your attention on your heart. I'm going to ask you to keep breathing, and I'm going to ask you to feel. Now, it may take you a little bit, but I'm going to keep saying breathe and feel and feel and breathe. And I'm going to ask you to open the center, to trust enough for you to feel. Now, for me, I think about the emotions that I will feel when a particular experience happens. And I start to feel that feeling before it happens. Why? Because I want to condition my body into getting used to, when I think about that experience, that instead of feeling lack or separation, when I think about that experience, I want to condition my body that every time I think about it, I feel the emotion of it happening. So I'm conditioning my body into the future. So you're going to breathe, you're going to feel, and I'm going to give you a few moments to get in the state. And all I want you to do is just get into it. Just work with your body. Make it feel safe enough to be in the present moment. Give it its energy to create with. And in the beginning, it may take a little practice, and you may say, well, I didn't feel anything. And I'm going to say to you, that's because you've been practicing feeling other emotions, and you got to start somewhere. So just work with it. And as you work with it and your heart starts getting coherent, I'm going to ask you then to feel it within you. That means right here. And if the heart is broadcasting a organized magnetic field, I'm going to say feel it within you and all around you. Tune in to that energy. And I'm going to ask you not to feel it with your brain. I'm going to ask you to feel it with your heart. The heart has 40,000 to 50,000 sensory neurites. It has its own little brain. And it knows and it remembers. It's more intuitive. And so you're working with this little brain for you to learn how to tune into frequency and energy. And if it's producing an ambient magnetic field, then where you place your attention is where you place your energy. You becoming aware of this field that the heart is creating and feeling it with your heart, you are learning how to entrain your heart into a more coherent, self-regulating energy. And so all I want you to do is feel it within you and all around you and tune in to that energy. And the longer you're conscious of this energy, the more you're causing your heart to be entrained to order. And in the blackness, all I want you to do is sense it with your heart. Now, the practice of doing this is so essential, because when the heart moves back into balance and you convert from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system, just so you know, about 1,300 to 1,400 different chemicals are released by your immune system and your brain that begin to repair and regenerate the body. And in one research study that we did, as I said in a previous episode, all we did is teach people, 120 people, how to open their hearts and trade fear or aggression or anger or pain or suffering for an elevated emotion. And we measured their immune response. We measured a chemical called immunoglobulin A, IgA, your body's primary defense against bacteria and viruses. It's better than any flu shot. It's your body's natural flu shot. And when people did this properly, just in 3 to 4 days, that chemical called IgA improved by 50%. So giving thanks, the worst thing that could happen to you is that you're going to heal. And that's a good thing. And so we want you to start feeling these elevated emotions so that you can practice this formula of heart coherence. By the same means, they have these fibers called efferent fibers that run from your heart all the way to certain areas of your brain through a nerve called your vagus nerve. And when the heart begins to become more coherent, it sends a signal right up to the amygdala. The amygdala is the survival center in your brain. That's where you experience fear and worry. That's where you experience aggression and anger. That's where you experience pain and suffering, and you experience love and joy. Turns out when the heart gets coherent, it resets the baseline in the amygdala for trauma or stress. It resets the baseline in that survival center that says everything is okay again. And all of a sudden, when the person does this properly and they reset the baseline, when they look back or they remember their past, they're not seeing it from the same mind of survival. They're seeing it from a different consciousness. They're seeing it from an elevated state. They have understanding. And the memory then, without the emotional charge, is called wisdom. And now the person no longer belongs to their past. They understand. They got the lesson from the past. And now they can create. They have energy to create with in their future. So practicing heart coherence. Think of all the values. It creates more coherence in the heart, more energy in the brain, more creative energy in the brain, more coherent alpha brainwave patterns. It begins to produce a broadened magnetic field that makes you feel connected, and it requires then a clear intention and elevated emotion. And when you feel connected with your heart, you feel like your future is happening to you. You start believing that it's happening to you. You are feeling connected to the energy of your future. You're not looking for that event to occur, because how could you look for it if you feel the emotions of it happening in the present moment? And the more you feel that emotion in the process of creation, the more you'll believe you're in the present moment. And where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And if you're truly in the present moment, you have a lot of energy now to create with. In addition to resetting the baseline of stress or trauma in your brain, it causes you now to own your past or to get beyond your past. So in the meditation, I will take you on a journey, and we'll practice a little brain coherence by opening your focus to the vacuum, to the blackness. I'll give you a moment to become more of it and less of you. Then out of all the potentials, all the things you can put your attention on, you're going to put it right in your heart. You want to activate this center. You'll put your attention on it. I'll ask you to feel the energy in that center. Then I'll ask you to breathe to regulate your breath. Breathe in and out of this center. I'll ask you to call up the emotions of your future or call up an elevated emotion. I'll give you a few moments to breathe and feel and to work with your body. Then I'll ask you to feel it within you and all around you. And all I want you to do is feel it with your heart, not your brain, but with your heart. And tune into that frequency or energy and teach your heart how to connect to that field. Why is that important? Well, now that we understand the formula of brain coherence and heart coherence, if the thought is the electrical charge in the quantum field and you have a coherent brain, you got a coherent signal. If the feeling is the magnetic charge in the quantum field and you're creating from this center that connects you to the field, not from the other emotions of survival. Once you connect those two and you have this Wi-Fi signal, now you can connect to different potentials in the quantum field. And when you can synchronize your energy to some new potential that exists in the quantum field, you should start to see synchronicities in your life. And it's not like you have to go anywhere to get them. They're coming to you. So in the next episode, I want to talk to you about creating from the field instead of from matter and synchronizing your energy so that when there's a vibrational match between your energy and some potential, you'll learn how to create from the field and draw those experiences to you. I hope you enjoy. Sit up. Eyes closed. and relax. Your body. Feel your body. And relax it. More. And relax. Into nothing. Into the blackness. It's all around you. And now it's time to awaken your creative center, your heart. Find it. Become aware of it. Feel it. Pay attention to it. Giving it life with your attention. And feel in the blackness. Feel your heart. Feel it. Notice it. Stay aware of it. Feel your connection to it. That's energy in your heart. In the blackness. And remember this feeling, your heart, and allow your breath to flow in and flow out. through your heart. Slower. Deeper. And more relaxed. Keeping your attention on your heart. And inhale all the way into your heart. And hold it. And let it build. And exhale. And relax into your heart. Feel it. Notice it. And inhale all the way to your heart. And hold it. And exhale. And feel into your heart. Feel it. Experience it. Relax into it. To your heart. And inhale all the way into your heart. And hold it. And exhale. And relax into your heart. In the blackness. Feel it. Notice it. That's energy in your heart. And inhale all the way to your heart. And hold it at the top. And exhale. And feel it's your heart. Feel it. Relax into your heart. And inhale all the way into your heart. And hold it. And exhale. And relax into your heart. Feel it. Notice it in your heart. Keep your attention on it. That's energy in your heart. And now it's time to call up an emotion for your heart. An emotion that connects you to your future. And breathe and feel into your heart. Feel it with all your heart. And when you feel it, breathe a little more to your heart. Then exhale and feel a little more with your heart, falling in love with life. And breathe and feel with your heart. Feel it. Experience it. Enjoy it. And breathe into your heart. And exhale. And feel a little more with your heart. Feel it within you. And all around you. Tune in to the power of love. And feel it with your heart. Feel it. Experience it. Breathe and feel. It's all around you. Tune in and receive to your heart. Blackness. That's energy in your heart. It's all around you. Tune in and feel and breathe and open your heart to life. A new life. Let it live in your heart. Feel. That's energy in your heart. Feel it. Experience it. Your heart. And remember this feeling. With your heart. blackness. It's all around you. Feel it with your heart. Tune in and feel with your heart. And remember this feeling in your heart. Now, slowly bring your awareness back to your body, to your environment, and to this time. And when you're ready, open your eyes and come back to the world of the senses. In this space and time,